Hello, this is Teresa Jackson, and for the assignment, I have been tasked to find technological tools that I could integrate into my curriculum to help solve problems in my classroom. This is a community project. It's a lesson plan presentation, so let's go ahead and get started and let's see what some of the problems may be in my classroom. So, what's the problem? Well, I'm an alternative learning environment teacher, so my students vary in age and grade. The majority of my students' lessons take place on the computer rather than traditional lecture due to the fact that there's different grade level subjects going on in one class period. With my students already doing the majority of their classwork on a learning canvas like Zacellus on the computer, one of the problems is keeping them engaged and interested and motivated. Another problem is being able to create a sense of community within the classroom between students with such a varied grade, age, and subject due to the fact that they're working on a learning canvas and they're not really interacting with each other very much. So, who are my students? Well, my students consist of a varied group of students, 9 through 12th grades, and each class consists of a variety of content core subjects. How does the lesson work? Well, I'm going to introduce technological tools in the class as we begin using them. I'm going to discuss the assignments for the lesson and the technology tools that we're going to be using to complete the assignments. I'm going to be assessing the students, and I'm going to let them know what I'm going to be using to assess them. I'm going to provide them with tools so that they'll know, and I'm going to put them in peer groups. Can technology solve the problems? Well, it can help, yes. So I've chosen three to four things here that I think will help. One of them is Powtoons, Padlet, Screencast or Screencastify, and then I'm going to use Google Forms test quizzes. Powtoons is going to be one of the things that I'm going to use, and it can be assessed by going to this website right here, www.powtoons.com. It's an animation software for creating animated presentations and animated explainer videos. The name Powtoon is a portmanteau of PowerPoint and the word cartoon, which is really what it really means. It's just like a PowerPoint slideshow that's animated. It's really great. It's kind of like in a little movie type thing, and there's transitions in it and music, and I think that's going to really help motivate my kids, and I think they'll enjoy it. Padlet is another tool that I'm going to use. It can be accessed by browsing, going to this website. It's an online virtual bulletin board technology tool which allows teachers and students to create virtual walls where pictures, ideas, stories, and more can be shared. And this is just an example image of what can happen. You can see where this right up here is the question, whatever they're posting about, and this is each student's reply. And some of them's put images in. Looks like web pages have been put in. So another tool that I'm going to use is Screencastify. I love Screencastify. I'm so glad that I learned it in my technology course that I've been taking. So Screencastify is a free Chrome extension that lives in your browser. So this is your browser right here, and you got a little thing. Once you download it, it'll be right here, and you just click on it. It's like a little puzzle piece. It makes it easy to record, edit, and share videos of your computer screen. Recordings can be easily shared via email. You got an embedding code. You can put it on a YouTube channel. You can upload it to your Google Classrooms and more. And students can use it too to explain what they know in their own words. So right here, if you'll click here, it'll give you instructions on how to download Screencastify. So assignments for each tool. So the Powtoons I'm going to use as an online introduction to activate prior knowledge, let them watch a video. Then it's also going to be, it's used for presentation, but it's also going to be used for presentation for them also. Padlet's going to be an online discussion board and assessment tool, and then Screencastify is going to be, I'm going to use it as an assessment tool, and so that they can share their knowledge in their own words. The Powtoons Assignment, we're going to create Powtoons accounts. I will create a YouTube classroom channel for students to submit their Powtoons to that, and also to Google Classrooms. I'm going to explain Powtoons to students through a tutorial video. We're going to have individual students that are going to be responsible to develop their Powtoons using the information that they've learned while studying about the 6 geographical regions of Arkansas. They're submitted, their Powtoons are going to be submitted to the YouTube channel, the school one. We're going to talk to admin, get it approved, and that way we can showcase what our class has done. And then, of course, I'm going to have a Powtoons rubric created for them so that they'll know what's expected of them. So they'll know how I'm going to assess them on it. All right, the Padlet assignment, I'm going to create a Padlet rubric right here. We're going to create the student Padlet accounts. I'm going to post discussion board to activate prior knowledge on the class wall. It's going to be called All About Arkansas. And to assess the post knowledge, I'm going to create a class wall called the 6 geographical regions of Arkansas, where they're going to post what they've learned about each geographical region. And in my Padlet rubric, it'll also let them know that grammar, content, spelling is going to be graded. Screencastify assignment. I'm going to create a rubric, first of all, for the Google slide presentation that they're going to be using the Screencastify extension to explain what they know in their own words. So I'll place students in groups of 4. I'm going to create a classroom assignment. Student groups are going to be responsible for conducting their research and developing their slide presentation to ensure that they represent their assigned geographical region thoroughly while referring to the rubric. And then individual students are going to use Screencastify to explain the slides that they were responsible for creating or helping to recreate. So what are peer groups? I'm going to put students in groups. And to do a peer group, I'm going to put advanced students with struggling students, and that encourages collaboration between those students. It allows students to share their knowledge with each other, and it also encourages students to help one another. And not only that, it also gives those peer tutors that are helping, it gives them a sense of accomplishment. And I think it's kind of like a feel good, like, oh, I know this, I can help somebody else. And it just gives them confidence in their own knowledge. Okay, so assessing students, all this is going to be aligned with standards. I'm going to have a Google slide presentation rubric. Powtoons, I'm going to be able to assess them through their finished product. Same thing with Screencastify, their Padlet discussion boards. And this is just an image right here of what a rubric would look like. The alignment with standards, the standard that I chose from the Common Core Standards on the Arkansas website, Department of Ed, was just compare and contrast the 6 geographical regions of Arkansas, and that they'll be able to locate the 6 regions of Arkansas on a map. The alignment with standards on this is the International Society for Technology and Education Standards. I felt like this standard right here, 1C, really encompassed what we were doing, what I had planned on doing. It's where students use technology to seek feedback that informs and improves their practice and to demonstrate their learning in a variety of ways. I feel like I'm able to give them the feedback that they need through the Screencastify, through Powtoons, and through Padlet, because I can even comment on the Padlet, and I feel like they can demonstrate their learning in all those ways also. So this is just a sample of a Powtoon rubric. When I create my own, I will fix it a little bit different, but what I'm looking for is like required number of slides, appropriate imagery, transitions, music, the overall presentation of it, their creativity. So I'm looking for those things. For the Padlet rubric, this is another just sample of a rubric. I'm looking for their participation, grammar, their vocabulary, their post completion, their word counts, the correct number of replies that I've asked for. So I want to make sure that they understand what's expected of them. The Screencastify rubric needs to be organized, and here it is. It's just a sample of it. Correct time limit on the Screencastify, their grammar, their spelling, the excellent use of format in their Google slides, the fonts that they're using, the transitions that they use within that, the colors that they're using, all of those things matter. Google Forms is another assessment test quiz. With Google Forms, this to me is more of a traditional. It may not be paper and pen, but it's still traditional. And I probably would only do about 10 questions from the unit of study for a quiz or a test, because I feel like I'm assessing them in a different way instead of just doing it on a test. So I don't think the test needs to be that long. So the information is going to come from Arkansas history resources that were used in the Powtoon introductory videos, which I would have gotten from the Arkansas history standards and the Arkansas history book. So what do I expect? Well, the objectives of the lesson for me was to research and find technology that could be integrated into my lessons to provide for my students. Provide them with interesting and engaging activities to keep them motivated and to learn, do some collaboration to build a community atmosphere in my classroom. And I think that what I can expect is that my students are going to enjoy and have fun integrating this technology that I've chosen into their lessons while they're researching and presenting information that they've learned. So I hope this has helped you. I know it's helped me. So I appreciate your time and thank you. Goodbye.